So it's time to break this thing wide open. That is Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Drink your sake. Drink your sake. Anyhow, the weaponization of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Drink your sake. Part number 2. And I'm using for my reference this documentary. White light, black rain. Now we're going to meet someone who made a comic book, comic series out of it. Yes, it's that serious. We had to make some comic books out of it.
「少年ジャンプ」の月刊誌の方で漫画家の自叙伝を書けと、それを読んだ編集長が非常に気に入って、お前のその短編を長期の連載をやらないか。
So it's such a serious thing that we're going to put it in a comic book. Think about this. It's so serious that we want to put it in a comic book. The editors ask me, no, you're an actor or you're a comic book writer. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I know one thing. I have been around real tragedy. And the last thing anyone would want to do is to take something so tragic and put it into a comic book. Come on, people, use your head. Think about a tragedy in your community, a genuine tragedy. Think about a genuine tragedy in your family. Tell me something. Would you be excited to put it in a comic book?
いうことで始まったのが話の源なんです。ずっとした。
So once again, you're dealing with symbols, and I just did the first chapter of the book called Public Opinion, and in that particular book he talks about the pictures in our head. So you can look it up on some of my other channels. I forget where I put things, but the book was written in 1922, and he's the one that came up with the phrase, the manufacturing of consent. Now, along with Edward Bernays, who will come up with the phrase, the engineering of consent. But it is the book Public Opinion, published in 1922, that will tell you that the minds of people are filled with pictures. Now that's why the comic book idea. Because the first picture you're going to see is some big bomb, which is just a phallic symbol. Then you've got a feminine symbol where the finger is pointing to the target. So the bomb, the male symbol, the phallic symbol goes into the female symbol. And what do you have? Now, I'm not trying to get R-rated or X-rated on you. But when the male symbol goes into the female symbol, well, you know, there's an explosion. So a comic book now is the conveyor of pictures to anyone who can't read a book.
バーッと光る。もうこの時ね。年齢は
Now it gets even more fantastic. So I want you to think about when you were 6 years old. And I want you to tell me that you can recall things so vividly.
満6歳。本当によく覚えてます。もうよっぽど衝撃が強い。
Now listen to what he says. I remember it so well. This is what I could do. Hint, hint. Here comes the hint.
たんですよ。もう記憶がパッチリ残ったですね。だからもう
I could recreate a movie set. Now that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Because the hoaxers are creating movie sets in your head and in mine. And that's what that book is about in chapter 1 of Public Opinion, 1922. Well, not only could he create a movie set, he created a cartoon, a comic book. So one of the biggest tragedies ever to hit Japan is represented in a comic book. Why? Because it is comedy. Now remember, there are two types of plays, according to the Romans. There are plays that focus on tragedy. There are plays that focus on comedy. Both the Greeks and the Romans had two categories for plays. So if you want, you can put this in either category. It depends on how you want to see it. Now, because of witchcraft, everybody will put it in the, most everybody will put it in the category of tragedy. Now I tried to illustrate this point in a video I did a while back, and I got a strike for it on one of my channels. But I talked about the high school history class that's reviewing World War II and getting inundated with all these statistics of all these millions that have died. And then down the hallway there's the English class producing a musical drama, Springtime for Hitler. You know it in the movie called The Producers with Mel Brooks, and I advise you to watch the movie because they get really wacky about the war. And what I was trying to illustrate is it tragedy or is it comedy? And I guess some of the visuals I chose for that particular video were not appreciated, so I do believe I got a strike for it. But it's the same idea. The other idea that I've employed a lot, is it real, R-E-A-L? Or is it real, R-E-E-L? Like the reels on an old-fashioned movie projector. Now you see how quickly he jumps from, I'm 6 years old, I remember every detail, and it should have been the most traumatic thing anybody has ever gone through in their entire life. In fact, he shouldn't even be able to talk coherently because of what they call post-traumatic stress syndrome. But yet, he can recall every detail. Not only that, he can create a cartoon. Not only that, he could make a movie set if you wanted him to. Why would he say that? Why? Because the world was fooled with pictures in their head. And that's how we operate with the mind. Pictures in our head. So if you're interested in that particular video, you'll have to check some of my other channels. I uploaded on 2 of my channels, and I forget what channels I uploaded it on. So I jump around from channel to channel because I never know how my work is going to be received by the editors, the AI editors. But what I want you to focus on at the end of this particular video is what he says here. That if I had to, I could recreate a movie set. Now, isn't that a weird thing to say? When your textbooks tells you people got incinerated, people had flesh hanging off of them. And he says, I could create a movie set. Doesn't sound like something I would say if I came through a major trauma like he's insisting on. Well, anyhow, this concludes part 2 of the weaponization of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So drink your sake. And this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching. And more than that even, if you can leave a comment, I really appreciate it. Because then I know that you comprehended something and I hear from you. So if you can, take an extra minute and just leave me a comment. That's what keeps me going, your comments. Thank you for watching. End of video.